At the north of Banat, halfway between Kikinda and Novi Bečej, at the elongated elevation, spreads admiringly the long village, 6 kilometers long, which has been enlisted in geographic arts as Novo Miloševo since 1946. It consists of two former villages which originated as early as the 18th century, Beodra and Karlovo, namely Dragutinovo, merged into the unique settlement after the Second World War. Beodra is settled by the inhabitants of nearby destroyed village of Akača. According to data from 1731, the inhabitants of Akača were the Serbs, highwaymen, Haiduks, guided by the special captain. The settlement, encircled by the swamps, was turned into the residence full of suspicious persons of wicked character, renegades to the authority and law. These intrinsic rebels established their own self-rule in Akača, organized themselves as the group and did damage to the authorities and the inhabitants of nearby villages. They particularly liked to rob the boats on the Tista River. Finally, this hotbed of evil highwaymen was destroyed by the Baron Engelshafen in 1742, who mainly killed the leading rebels and settled the remaining inhabitants in the nearby Beodra. As early as 1758, the inhabitants of Beodra erected the church, and in 1779 they ordered the luxurious Baroque iconostasis. The chroniclers record that in 1752 Karlovo was inhabited by former soldiers of the military frontier border guards from Ada. Karlovo belonged to the Great Kikinda district, the territory with special type of autonomy in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. During peacetime, the inhabitants of Karlovo were obliged, like other border guards and military personnel, to perform service in their native places for the needs of Austria and to accept military service at wartime, serving the Tsar as paid soldiers in their own country and abroad. During wartime, their families were exempted from tax payment, while the families of the fallen soldiers were granted special financial support. The inhabitants of Karlovo fought the war far and wide across Europe, and their fight against Napoleon is particularly remembered. When the soldiers ungridded their sabbats, they bound themselves to the soil of Banat, for the granary feeding them, and deeply rooted themselves there. At the tender bidding of estate of Banat in Vienna in 1781, Beodra was purchased by Armenian merchants Bogdan and Michael Karachony for 103,000 forints. As of that moment, the inhabitants of Beodra, the Serbs, became serfs with the Karachony landowners. Soon after their arrival to Beodra, the Karachonys inhabited the Hungarian and German population there, so that Beodra became a multi-ethnic settlement. Despite the dissatisfied inhabitants, Beodra was developing and booming after it turned into the landowner estate. The desiccation of swamps which encircled Beodra commenced in 1805. It was proclaimed for townlet, and the same year feudal rulers advanced it into the agricultural town, wherewith it acquired the right to hold 3 annual fairs. The civil construct was thriving. The Karachony family built a big wheat warehouse, a corn storage, administrative buildings, winter stable, mausoleum church, several economic and ancillary facilities, as well as 2 magnificent castles. The older castle, Manor, which has been preserved until today, was raised according to Borovsky by Laszlo Karacsony in the mid-19th century. The castle is a grandiloquent one-story building of Classicist style embodied in rigid symmetry of the main facade with simple, reserved and refined decoration. The entrance doorway is placed in the central position at the front facade with deep open terrace on the second floor. The interior retained few traits of its original appearance. Except for the wooden ceiling in so-called Maiden's Room and the authentic carpentry and marble floors, nothing else has unfortunately been preserved. The park of 4 hectares bounded the castle itself. In front of the castle there was a strictly decorated French park, and behind the castle a more casual English-style park. The Karacsony didn't used to stay and reside in the castle quite often. They used to come at the time of harvest and at the hunting season. Off and on they organized large merrymaking for the nobility from the European towns and surrounding large estates latifunda, which were frequent and luxurious. Munkaci Michal, Konstantin Daniel and Samo Šelemek made the portraits of the Karacsony family, while their house rooms were ornamented with paintings and works of art by numerous European painters. The luxury was evident at every step and corner of the castle. However, the high-style life exceeded the revenue that the castle itself brought. Before the First World War, the estate was already under the mortgage. After the war, after the agrarian reform, the castle was put up for sale by the Zagreb Mortgage Bank, and in 1939 it was bought by the Beograd municipality. Since then it has been a mental hospital, children's home, home for homeless female children, elementary school, chemical factory Hinom, while today this castle without economic purpose is standing alone, waiting for somebody to renovate it and give it a meaningful purpose. The more recent castle, which was built by the relative of Laszlo, Lajos Karacsony, was not preserved and is remembered only from the preserved photographs. The facility was built in the classicistic Biedermeier style. It was located at the entrance of Beograd. It was built in 1857. It was a noble edifice, lavishly decorated with several economic, agricultural and ancillary facilities at a park of about 17 acres. After 1918, the castle was robbed, ruined and put under the mortgage. The Zagreb Mortgage Bank sold it in 1930 to Franjo Merlak. As in 1926, the legal proceedings for property restitution was commenced before the International Court in The Hague by the landowners of Banat, Merlak decided to demolish the castle and sell out its building material. The staircase fragments, the parts of columns from the balcony, the statue of a lion from the stairs and a couple of photographs are the only things remaining us of the grandiloquent castle. Laszlo and Lajos Karacsony built a Roman Catholic church in Beograd in the period from 1838 to 1841. As the story tells, it was built by 2 brothers, which is why it has 2 towers. The church is of monumental dimensions, built in the style of Classicism. It is one of few Catholic churches in Vojvodina adorned with 2 towers and almost kept authentic appearance from the mid-19th century. The church was once within the demolished castle of Karacsony's. On the outside is the entrance into the crypt where the family value of the Karacsony family is. The year 1841 is engraved on the crypt doors made of metal. In the niches in the walls of the crypt are the tombs of some 20 family members. On some of the tombstones there are coats of arms made of red and white marble. Some of them represent the mastery of art of sculpture. The interior of the temple is luminous and bright owing to large, masterfully placed glassy windows. It is lavishly decorated with moderate and refined taste, which unequivocally proves it a work of skillful architect. The interior is complemented with numerous sculptures of saints, altar paintings, decorative confessionals, a pulpit of crystal chandeliers which harmoniously fit within the white walls. The church is distinguished by the organs, which function impeccably after 1.5 centuries. At the main altar there is a painting on canvas representing Maria Magdalena praying in the front of the grave. The painting was made in the realistic manner by Gligoretti Meyer. At the left altar is the Holy Mother on the sphere, the work of art of Jacob Vorskag. Next to the church is a parish castle which has been built the same time as the church itself. The corn storage, which once belonged to the complex of older preserved castle of Karačonis, was erected in the style of classicism, reconstructed and adapted for the needs of regional heritage collection exhibition. Currently, it houses a remarkable museum collection with several thousands of exhibits. The museum bears the name of Kotarka, descending from the previous purpose of the facility, which was the storage of corn. Dragan Rauški, the founder of the museum, commenced to realize this idea into practice in 1994. It was the beginning of an intensive exhibit collection. In 2013, the reconstruction of the facility was completed, comprising 5 exhibition halls which were furnished. The first hall houses the history of town planning and construction development of Novo Miloševo, of the noble and county Karačonya family, 3 church parishes, 2 Orthodox and 1 Roman Catholic, the history of trade, crafts and school system, and the exhibits connected to the firefighting company which was founded in 1889. The documents which refer to the life and work of 2 most distinguished inhabitants of Novo Miloševo belong to that entity. Dr. Đorđe Jovanović, one of the founders of the Faculty of Medicine in Belgrade, and Teodor Pavlović, who renewed the Matica Srpska. The second hall is dedicated to textile, handicrafts and household furniture. Woven tapestry-style rugs from the 19th and the 20th century, towels, parts of folk costumes, golden embroidery, parts of girls' dowry, bed linen, so-called štafir, loom, distav, stoop for hemp, reel for cotton, kit for embroidery and spinning, so-called trukovanje, kitchen utensils and other devices which form a homogeneous thematic unit. In the third room is the exhibition of traditional decoration of guest front room with bed, bench, table and chairs, wardrobe and kitchen cabinets, so-called dolov, patchworks and woven tapestry-style rugs, as well as other interesting details which complete and evoke the life of a well-off family in Banat at the end of the 19th century. The other part of Kotarka with authentic wooden structure is entirely dedicated to agriculture. The wooden long cart, sledge, agricultural machines and tools, numerous photographs represent vividly the agricultural development throughout the 19th and the 20th century. The middle part of the Kotarka houses the part dedicated to food processing, summer kitchen, as well as small agricultural tools and apparatus. The Museum Kotarka is not only the native museum of Novo Miloševo, but the entire Banat, which preserves diligently the memory, tradition and the spirit of bygone times, thus attracting numerous tourists. The original Serbian Orthodox Church in Beograd was built in 1759, and the present one, dedicated to Saint Stephen, was built in 1872. The one-sided edifice, of smaller dimensions in relation to the 2 nearby churches, is set into the old center of Beograd. It was built by the contributions of its inhabitants, believers, with large financial participation of the Karačonji family. The negotiations concerning its relocation to the present location lasted many years, but the Counts eventually won the victory by means of threats and redundant financial help. At the place of the old church, the Karačonis built a half-Olympic swimming pool. During the process of church relocation, the cemetery was relocated as well, and the monuments were remained served as a payment to the port. The moderate outside decoration that adorned the church was completely removed during the reconstruction in the 17th of the last century, when the appearance of the top of the bell tower was entirely changed. The church was painted not earlier than 1904 by the contribution of the well-off believers whose names were engraved in the emblems below the frescoes. This practice also maintained during the making of new frescoes in the 80s of the 20th century. The interior of the temple is embellished by highly decorative and splendid Baroque iconostasis, which was brought from the old church. The icons on the iconostasis are the work of Teodor Popović from Bečkerek, an important Serbian painter from the 18th century. Serbian Orthodox Church of Saint Archangel Michael and Gavrilo in Karlovo is a monumental edifice built in 1842 with eclectic traits. The inhabitants of Karlovo also relocated their church to the new location, to the new center of the village, where they built a school, a town hall and a tavern. By its size, it is doubtless one of the biggest churches in Banat. Therefore, its construction lasted a long time. When the inhabitants ran out of financial support during its construction, they asked for a loan from rich merchant and benefactor Sava Tekelija through Teodor Pavlović. Tekelija, upon the request of Pavlović, granted the loan, and the church was completed, but for many years, until the loan has been entirely paid off, a good portion of land in Karlovo was under the mortgage, because the majority of households mortgaged their estates for the construction of this church. The rich outside decoration has been completely preserved. By its dazzling whiteness and grandiloquence, the church indomitably dominates its surroundings. Iconostasis, singing areas, thrones, part of the arch, and Christ's monument were painted by Nikola Aleksić in 1854. It is remarkable that Jura Jakšić took part in the competition as well, in order to make the paintings and the iconostasis of the church because of his Karlovo origin, but the work was conferred to the then more famous Aleksić. Wall paintings and the path of the arch were made by Joseph Goigner in 1872. Teodor Pavlović, the secretary and reform of Matica Srpska, was buried at the church port. Within the complex Bosch Diesel Center Žeravica in Novo Miloševo, there is a unique museum of tractors, steam machines, agricultural machines, craft workshops, equipment and household furniture. Continuing the family tradition of his grandfather Miloran and father Milivoje, Čedomir Žeravica has turned his family workshop into the Diesel Center, which was once declared the best service center of the prestigious German company on the territory of the former Yugoslavia and Hungary. The museum displays several thousand exhibits, and it shows technical development of the economy in this part of Europe for nearly 3 centuries. Some exhibits and collections represent rarities and can be classified into the more important collection of this part of Europe. The most significant part belongs to the collection of tractors and then 6 steam machines and threshers, which use steam machines for their drive. The majority of tractors is almost completely restored and can be put into operation. Agricultural machines are represented with more than 300 exhibits, and they include long and short wooden cart, plowing machines, seeding machines, rollers, harrows, scythes, rakes, corn shellers, husk shellers, sieves, griddles, scales, grease nipples, cranes. The development of agriculture during the 19th and 20th century can be traced back by observing these tools and machines. Collections of cars, motorcycles, radio and TV receivers, old furniture, musical instruments, typewriters, baby carriages and toys are very striking as well. Special attention and space is dedicated to the exhibits connected to the old crafts and workshops, where one can see the appearance of the following workshops: carpenters, wheelwrights, locksmiths, tailors, shoemakers, watchmakers, soda makers, barbers, blacksmiths. Each of them consists of numerous exhibits which evoke the way of the operation and life characteristic of the bygone times. The small-scale zoological garden of Dragan Jorgin was built, as the owner says himself, for his own sake and to everybody's taste. This specific feathery zoological garden is full of exotic species, mainly inland birds. Among them we can single out the white local and the black swan from eastern Australia, and Indian geese, which have the biggest heart out of all living beings in relation to their body size, because of necessary 400 beats per minute, as they are flying at 9 kilometers height, even above the Himalayas, where the air is very rarefied. Speaking of ducks, we can see mandarin ducks, Caroline ducks, common shell ducks, African yellow-beaked ducks, Bahama ducks, American whistlers, and the Philippine ducks. This rich animal world is accompanied by several types of pigeons, turtles, and colorful parrots. The lavishly decorated yard with numerous captivating details and rare herbs attract many visitors, especially the children. One of the maxims guided Radovan Vlahovic, the founder of the Banat Cultural Center, is: trees must develop deep roots in order to grow strong and produce their beauty. One must hold fast to the tradition in order to grow. It is the principle by which this center based in Novo Miloševo is governed. Deep-rootedness in the tradition by preserving the concept of historic multicultural Banat and the creative activity from the local to the global level through art and literature is the essence of the BCC operation. This family creative industry deals with the organization of various cultural programs, not only in Novo Miloševo but also across the entire Vojvodina, Serbia and abroad. Banat Cultural Center has a developed publishing activity of some 50 titles per year. This center is the regular participant of the Belgrade and Novi Sad Book Fair, and it also organizes 6 traditional manifestations and festivals annually in Novi Sad, Belgrade, Novo Miloševo and other places, thus offering a unique concept of activity in the culture by its extensive creative operation. In the late 19th and the early 20th century, the inhabitants of Beodra and Karlovo practiced the promotion and advertising of their villages. It was then that the first photographs of the famous edifices and events originated, and they were printed and sold as postcards. Many of them retain the freshness and the authentic spirit of bygone times and represent the recorded moments of history. This history reminds us of who we are, where we come from, the legacy of values that was left for us, which unequivocally gives us the strength for our creativity on the path leading us to the bright future.